Let us look at what is succession. According to Odum, succession is ecosystem development which involves change in species structure, is reasonably directional and therefore predictable, is community controlled, culminates in a stabilized ecosystem. When these four things are satisfied, it is called succession. Clements stated as a universal law that bare places give rise to new communities except those which present the most extreme conditions of water, temperature, light and soil. Ecological succession is the process by which natural communities replace or succeed one another over time. And succession in marginal Arctic environment. The high Arctic systems are both heat energy and nutrient limited or deficient. Polar deserts are also moisture limited and represent a critical environment for higher plant survival. The successional pattern of Glacier Bay, especially in Alaska, the plants of the early cirrus, that is a natural succession of a plant animal communities, especially a full series from uncolonized habitat to a approximate climax vegetation, that is prepare the site for succeeding species. So what happens is the early cirrus prepare the site for succeeding species. The first, nitrogen fixation in root nodule of dryas and ulnus add nitrogen to the developing soil, improving the condition for establishment of later species. So this is the first stage that is happening. The successional replacement series of moss to pioneer forbs to cushion plant to semi-erect and erect shrubs finally results in a coniferous forest, and all phases are accomplished within a span of a century. So here we will look at a schematic representation of how the entire process takes place. First we have a bare rock exposed by glaciers or volcanic eruptions. So this is stage 1. Lichens and moss grow on this soil, exposed soil. So lichen and moss die, they decompose to give first organic soil. So lichens and grass starts growing on this organic soil. So the grass, this leads to grass and small plants. Then that leads to shrubs and bushes. So from this develops small trees. And finally we have larger trees where shade tolerant plants dominate. So this is how the succession takes place in the plant growth. This happens over a period of time. And let us look at the community dynamics in tundras. In alpine tundras, where frost action is less evident, a greater stability of soils and vegetation can be recognized. So this is little bit different from Arctic region because alpine tundras are little bit different compared to Arctic tundras. A pioneer community of Carex firma and Dryas octopetala on disintegrating limestone is replaced by a transition community which is developed on soils classed as redzina. The climax vegetation dominated by Carex occurs on climax soil characterized by being acid, highly leached and controlling much organic matter. So this is how one plant leads to the growth for the leaves place for the other plant to grow. So here is various stages of plant which are grown over a period of several decades. So here GX is the presumed extinct species, then possibly extinct, then it moved to critically imperiled, then vulnerable, then apparently secure to secure state. So this is how the Bryla humilis low Brea family is being studied by various scientists. So the Brea humilis inflorescence or inflorescence at any stage of development, and it may survive the winter and continue their development in the succeeding growing season. So they start with something and stop when the winter comes, then they start growing again, the winter is gone. So let us look at some of the adaptation by Arctic plants. They grow close together, low to the ground, and they all remain small. These are called cushion plants, dwarf willow. These are the examples. They have needle-like or small leaves. For example, cotton grass, no stems, big flowers. So you can see the Arctic poppy and other plants. They have woolly hairs, thick thick leaves and a thick waxy skin, for example mountain cranberry. These are perennials and long life cycles to help with the short growing season. They retain foliage year around and evergreen leaves to start early photosynthesis. So these are some of the adaptation by Arctic plants. So here are some of the examples given. Dwarf willow, Arctic poppy, mountain cranberry and cotton grass are shown here. They have a very shallow and shared root system. They does not need soil or root to grow, for example lichen and peat moss. Color and shape, heliotropism of flowers and leaf. Branches droop downward, because these are some of the plant adaptation by Arctic plants. Here is a picture of bog rosemary, Arctic blueberry and peat moss. They all grow very close to the ground. Then there are different types of plants. One is called compact form, Moss campion, White Mountain avens. They have cushioning. They trap heat in the winter and cool air in the summer. It limits water loss through transpiration and sunlight absorbed by the plant, because the compact form helps them do all these things. And there is something called a rosette form. They have small stature with high stem densities. Then we have fine leaf and stem hairs. These are required to capture and retain moisture. Then dwarf shrubs. They create a warmer microclimate at the base of the plant in winter and cooler microclimate in the summer. They require less energy by the plant to form photosynthetic tissues. And tussock grasses and sedges, they have long leaves that bend over to protect the plant base from wind damage and promote heat retention. Evergreen foliage, they reduce the energy and time needed to grow new leaves to start early photosynthesis. So these are some of the types of plants present in Arctic.